Liz, while you were flying, we had a very useful question sent in on Facebook,
Goodness.
which was, please can we see the map after the flight? And do you have any tips for planning AATs for those of us who are wanting to improve our flight?
Okay. So there's two ways to do AATs. One is to use CU and the other is to work it out.
Well,
I
let's
do
just
both.
assume that people...
I do both.
You do both.
Yep.
But if people are left with a Mark 1 eyeball and a ruler and a pen,
Yep, absolutely.
how do they go about it?
So we're going out this way, somewhere into there, we're going along here, somewhere into here, and then we're coming back. And we have to fly for 2 hours. So broadly what we have to do is think of a couple of things. How far are we going to go? So in order to know that, we need to know how fast we're going to go. And I mean, our default speed as clubbies is 80 kph. If it's a reasonable day, we should be doing 80 kph. If it's rubbish, we'll do less than that. If it's good, we'll do more than that. So we've got 2 hours, 160k. Now the minimum distance here was, I think, 101, and the maximum distance was 300. So 108, 303, 304. Yeah. So if you basically went from the start, if you basically went from the start line, clipped that, came home, that was 108k. But we know we wanted to do something like best part of 200, and so that was somewhere sort of to about there, gave us about 200k. So the first thing you do is sort of think, well, hang on, let's have a look in these circles. Where in here do we or don't we want to go? And actually this is all fairly uniform territory here. There's ripply stuff here, so it doesn't make a huge amount of difference. Over here, well, we've not been this far over yet, and you've got the river here, so what you don't want to do is go so that you're turning over the river, just in case some of these big continental rivers make their own weather, and it's quite often not very good across them. So you'd want to stop there or climb there and carry on to here somewhere. So actually we thought about here-ish, and about here-ish was probably good. And then what you do is you work out how long it's going to take you to get back home. So we're going to be on final glide somewhere around where the wiggly bigglies are, and from there, at the speed we're likely to be going, it's somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes home from about there. And if you go back to the edge of the sector, that's another 10k, and if we're doing 80 kph, sorry, another 20k rather, and if we're doing 80 kph, that's a quarter of an hour. So it's actually about 25 minutes home from there. So, and then the next 10k back that way, sorry, the next 20k back that way, another quarter of an hour, 40 minutes back from there, and 55 minutes back from there, and so on and so on. Of course, what you need to know is what speed am I doing really. But that's the plan that says broadly we're going to go into here at some point, then we're going to fly this way until we intersect this amount of minutes home, and then we're going to turn and come home.
Yep.
So
and do you aim to be back on the dot of 2 hours, or do you try and have a month?
Well, ideally I mean the ideal is to be back 2 hours and a second. If you come in under 2 hours, you still get scored for having taken 2 hours, so you really don't want to do that, because that's just wasted time. On the other hand, and particularly with a short AAT, quite a lot of, or a significant percentage of it's final glide, where you're going at twice the speed you will be doing otherwise. So you're doing 80 knots, not 80 kph. So you want to come in as little overtime as possible. And we ended up being a bit slow up this last run here compared to how we had been, and all of us came in a little bit over time today. I think I came in about 2 hours, just on 2:20 or something.
And they were about,
and they were a little bit behind that. So so I mean, ideally you aim to come in 10 minutes over time, something like that, and then if you've got the timing wrong by 10 minutes either way, well, that's still fine. And that's basically what happened to me.
So the other thing that we haven't mentioned in this particular video clip is that this is the map from day 3 of the Women's Worlds because hopefully this little snippet of video will be useful for people beyond the length of this competition. So.
Indeed. So once you've done that, then you've got to think about geometry, because if, for example, you went this way, wherever you turn, you get a radius back from the next one. So actually, if you want to make distance, firstly you want to go in as much like a straight line as you can within any sector, and secondly you need to think, and this is not a very good example, but if you had to go as far as possible, you wouldn't go down there, because then all you can do is go there. What you'd do instead was you'd go over there, and then you could come over there, and it would be further, and then come back this way. So you've got to think about the geometry. Are there any ground features that make the geometry, one particular bit of geometry easy and one bit less good? There may be airspace, so here, airspace here, airspace here. As you can see with the track through the centres, it just clips that. Well, we ended up turning down here a bit. I think over here in the end I turned. And then coming back, and of course the streets inevitably come up here, so we then had to sort of make a little around that bit of airspace, because I wasn't at that point high enough to go over it. That's 5,000 foot above sea level. So so those are the sorts of things you need to think about. How long is it going to take me to get home? And if you've got a nice big adjustment in the sector, then you can just fly out until you get to the point that you need to turn around and come home. In general, always go deep into the first sector, because that gives you all the options later. Today wasn't the day to do that, because it was just all quite over-convected looking down here, a lot more cloud, and also the forecast was for showers, heavier here, less so there. In fact, we didn't see any showers, although we saw a lot more spread out down here. So
because that was the other thing that was forecast, of course.
And we didn't see showers.
Okay.
We did see some big cumulus though.
Brilliant.
There you
Which
are.
wouldn't have taken much more egging on to become showers.
Indeed.
Thank you very much indeed.